With National Signing Day now in the rearview mirror, the coaching carousel is heating up once again, and it looks like West Virginia will be losing an assistant coach of their own. Let's go. What's going on, Mountaineer Nation? Jordan Cruz back with the Country Roads webcast, and a lot of people have gotten their wish. The talk at the end of the 2021 season was that they wanted to see some assistant coach shakeups. We got that in the arrival of Graham Harrell, where there's a lot of talk about certain coaches leaving, and one of them has, and that's Gerad Parker, the co-offensive coordinator and wide receivers coach for West Virginia for the past 2 seasons. I know West Virginia's offense has been really stagnant, and a lot of people have placed that blame on Parker for that, and he's kind of come down as the scapegoat. But it's come across, yesterday the news broke from Pete Thamel of ESPN, the first one to report it, that Notre Dame was going to be adding Gerad Parker as their new tight ends coach. He's going to be leaving West Virginia to join new coach Marcus Freeman's staff there at the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. And I think that this is a move that kind of the writing may have been on the wall a little bit. The guy gets demoted, and say what you will about the offense, but he didn't call a lot of those plays. I know that there was a time where it was believed he was calling the plays in the red zone. I know maybe the latter part of the season he had more involvement, but for whatever reason, whether it was he had never done it before or anything like that, Neil Brown didn't really seem to trust Gerad Parker to run the offense by himself. And I think this season he wanted to bring in someone that could do that he could give full autonomy to this offense to. And he's done that in Graham Harrell, which kind of results in a demotion for Gerad Parker. And when you've been offensive coordinator for the past 2 seasons and a high-paid offensive coordinator and receivers coach at that, and you take a demotion, you don't want to sit back and be the receivers coach in someone else's offense when you feel like you maybe should have been the one calling the plays while you were here, and you wish that you would have had this control that Graham Harrell feels like he's going to have. And, that's just not really a good dynamic to have in that staff room, in that locker room, I don't think. So I think this is maybe best for both parties involved. I think, Parker moving on to Notre Dame, where he gets to work with Marcus Freeman, who I believe he has a connection with from his days at Purdue. The West Virginia wide receivers, though, I will say, Parker wasn't only the offensive coordinator, he was also the receivers coach. And this past season, we saw the receivers take a big jump from what they were in 2020 when they struggled with those drops. The wide receivers were one of the stronger points of the offense, I believe, that we could all say. But that being said, I think West Virginia now has a hole with that wide receiver coach position, and you want to bring in somebody, I think, that's going to continue to develop those receivers, that also is a good recruiter as well. I'm hearing rumors now that, it was rumored West Virginia may bring in a tight end coach, but I've heard that Sean Reagan is actually going to stay on staff and move to tight ends coach. I don't know how much weight that holds, but that's what I've been hearing, so we'll see how that plays out. If so, West Virginia only have to hire one more staff member technically. They do have 2 vacancies, but if they plug Sean Reagan into one, then they won't have to hire one staff member, and it'll look like it will probably be a wide receivers coach. A lot of names been floating around of who that could be. I think, getting someone that could recruit Florida would be big. You lost Travis Trickett, who had really been doing an excellent job there, getting West Virginia back into South Florida with some of the recruits coming in this 2022 class, with guys like Trey Lathan at linebacker, Jacoby Spells at defensive back, ESPN 150, top 247 guys in those type of recruits, 4-star guys. And Travis Trickett really was a lead recruiter on both of those, I believe. And so, it was tough to lose his recruiting prowess. I know Graham Harrell's a proven good recruiter. I know he's a good developer of quarterbacks, but I think getting someone to recruit Florida would be good. So, you may want to look at some names for that. One guy that has Florida ties, has WVU ties, has said he wants to be a coach. I know I've heard a lot of people throw his name out there, and that's Stedman Bailey. I don't know if that's someone Neil Brown would look at, but I know that Neil Brown knows him. They've spoken. Stedman's made it clear he wants to coach, so I don't know. It's not too far out of the realm of possibility, I don't believe, but to me it kind of seems like a long shot, just because I think they'll want someone with more experience maybe, but we'll see how that plays out. The name that I've seen thrown around a lot that would personally be my favorite, and you got to look at connections with Graham Harrell, connections with Neil Brown, I know that, and maybe it will be someone that has connections to either one of those, to your head coach Neil Brown or to your new offensive coordinator Graham Harrell. But I think a coach that had a lot of success at West Virginia with receivers is now available, and I think he's been in the air raid offense. He played in it when he was in college, and then of course he coached in it here at West Virginia and developed some great players like Karan White, David Sills, Gary Jennings, TJ Simmons, I mean, you name it. And he's developed receivers throughout his career and done a great job. He moved from West Virginia with Dana Holgorsen, went to Houston, but you can't blame him. That's his alma mater, and I'm talking about Tyron Carrier, the former West Virginia wide receivers coach. I think he came over back in, 2016, I think, and was here until Dana Holgorsen left, and then he went to Houston with him. But Houston just parted ways with him this past season, I think in the spring before the 2021 season, parted ways with Tyron Carrier, and I haven't seen him be picked up by anyone. So that's a guy with a lot of experience in the system, and not only that, also knows West Virginia. I don't know what his recruiting grounds were here when he was here, or if he could recruit Florida, but he does know how to recruit. He's done a good job recruiting, and more importantly, he's done a great job developing receivers, which I think you need as well. So those are just a couple names off the top of my head, that I've seen thrown around, and Stedman Bailey and Tyron Carrier, I guess a name I've seen thrown around that would be good, and my personal favorite in Carrier. That's just kind of what I'm looking at as far as who's going to replace Gerad Parker. That being said, what are your guys' thoughts? Who do you want to be the new wide receivers coach at West Virginia? What are your thoughts on Parker's departure? Either way you're feeling, let me know in the comments. As always, this has been the Country Roads webcast. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as we continue to try and grow this up here on YouTube for you guys and bring you guys more WVU football updates. As always, I'm Jordan Cruz, and until next time, let's go Mountaineers.